Me Too fam, please welcome Michelle Garza Cervera, the director of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Hey, hi Liam. Thank you so much for having me.
We're so lucky to have you. I saw the movie yesterday and it's fantastic. And I noticed that, you've mainly worked in horror. What drew you to that genre?
That's something that comes naturally to me. I don't even know. Like, my family jokes is like a therapy thing. I don't know. Like, it's just like, I feel like it's so good to have all of that fiction, and that horrific genres to play with. I feel like it gives balance to my life in a way. And honestly, I feel like it's a genre that allows you to do so much, like to speak about very complex emotions, and it gives you like so many tangible imagery and sounds to play with. I feel very comfortable in this genre, and it's something that I've been doing for years and years. So it comes to me in as I was saying, like kind of natural way.
That's what I love about horror too. I think it was like Guillermo del Toro that said that monsters are metaphors. And I think that's something that's so fun about horror is you get to say things through a very fun and scary vehicle.
You don't see what's been happening. They go into her room. They're in there for hours.
I wanted to ask you, why do you think Latino audiences love horror and scary movies?
I feel like that's something that I've always been surrounded with that, like since my grandparents, and like the sense of like Dia de Muertos and like legends around your house, and like witchcraft in the like market in the corner of the house. Like, there's something that is just so daily life in the way you grew up with that it's even like hard to take it away of life. In a way, to me, it's kind of contained in living. And I feel like we all enjoy to have the chance to sit down and just watch a movie containing all of these themes. I feel like that's where it should belong, like violence in the screens in fiction, in order to have like more of like peaceful living in our houses.
Emergency. Emergency.
I think this is your first studio film
It is.
and your first in English, right?
Yes.
How did, these two things affect your usual process?
Like, honestly, at first I was a little bit intimidated. I coming from Mexico City, I always worked there. But we have amazing crews and actors over there. So the moment I started working here in the studio system and with the actors and my cast and my crew, I was like, okay, the craft is the same, like it's you're designing a story, you're building character, you're doing cinema language with a team, and playing with sound. And when it comes to the specifics of what I do as a film director, it's really not so different. So then when I understood that, I was like, okay, I shouldn't be scared or intimidated by all this like Hollywood system, because honestly, at the end of the day, the craft is the same everywhere. And I feel very proud of having had the chance to bring like so much of my learnings and my upcoming in Mexico to this film.
Yeah, and I was going to say you effortlessly kind of brought, our culture into the movie as well. Was that something that happened consciously, or is it, important for you to make sure that was in a big studio film like this?
To me, it was very important to bring some characters and aspects of Mexicanity and being a Latino in LA, because this is where we shot the movie and this is how this city is. It's like surrounded, like the half of the set, so there were so many Latinos on set and in the crew as well behind cameras, and I feel like that's the feeling you have in a city like Los Angeles. So I'm very happy that like that is present in the film as well.
Yeah. Now, so with the story, this film isn't exactly a remake. How did you find your story within the themes of the original?
We had a very clear sandbox, like a framework coming from such an iconic and classic film. But then to me, it was really important to have our own themes and, like something I wanted to explore as a filmmaker that really could create a whole identity for a movie. There was a point that we were so invested and trusting of the process of like so much time, so many rewrites, so many creative processes with a huge crew that becomes so specific to this movie itself that we kind of forget on a point that it's a remake. We stop thinking about it because we have our own characters, our own themes, our own like symbols and imagery and sound and music. So everything became specific to this film, and that's to me like what you need to do in order to honor an original movie that also had that process.
Yeah, and I wanted, this movie's completely kind of shifted my perception on nannies and the people that we welcome into our homes.
What do you know about her, besides what she's told you?
What about that specific aspect was interesting to you?
You know, I feel like it's just so sinister. You know, I love like those like extremely dark intentions, you know, when you have a character that has such a heartbreak in a way, and it's okay with trying to go and take over someone else's house and life and family. There's like such an interesting relationship and magnetism there between these two characters that I was very moved by, you know, in a very dark way. You know, I feel like it's just such a horrific and macabre like storyline, you know, that it was challenging to hold the logic of it. So I think that's why it was also like so fun and important to build all of the layers, you know, because it had to sustain itself.
Yes, and it definitely did sustain. And so I wanted to say congrats to you and the film and making
Thank you,
this
Liam.
big picture feel personal to a lot of people here. So congrats. And I know The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is on Hulu October 22nd.
Yes, please watch it.
Okay, will do. And congrats, Michelle, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Liam. Love talking with you.